Hi, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Align's Daily Dose of Advice, our way of bringing you valuable insights and thought leadership from business experts from around the world on various topics that will hopefully help you and your business. My name is Eugene Turk. I'm the Vice President of Business Development at Align. You can always check out more about Align at aligntoday.com. My guest today is Mark Fenner. Mark is the founder and president of the Rise Performance Group and is a scaling up certified coach based out of Dallas, Texas. For more than 30 years, Mark has been inspiring CEOs, owners, and their leadership teams to think bigger, act bolder, and make an even greater impact on their community, its employees, and their companies. Mark spent the first 25 years of his career building sales teams, and since 2011, he's been serving as a resource for company leaders looking to rise up so that their organizations can scale up. Mark, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Eugene.
Obviously, the COVID crisis has impacted every single business in the United States and probably the world. Some for the positive, more likely many in the negative. And so I was wondering if we could start the discussion by having you share sort of some examples of how your specific clients have been impacted by the business interruption and the COVID crisis.
Well, I don't have any clients, Eugene, that see this as a windfall. So,
Right.
so this is not a big tailwind behind any clients that I'm working with. I have some that have been devastated. I mean, those that are in the event space and travel space, as you can imagine, I mean, revenues have plummeted 80, 85, 90, some completely gone away. And then I have a lot, I've got some in healthcare that are, so far business has stabilized, have not seen any real impacts yet. But there's uncertainties. There's uncertainties out there, even in healthcare. Are the workers going to be able to continue to get access to the hospital rooms that they
Yep.
need to work on and do the kind of work they're doing? So I think every client I have has a feeling of uncertainty around their business through this time.
And so in response to that, how are you coaching them to believe that they are going to get through this and perhaps even thrive when we get to the other side when things seem pretty bleak right now?
Yeah, great question. And it's not easy, right? Because these CEOs are carrying the full weight of all their employees who work for them and all the families that they're a part of. And in many cases, they've invested their whole lives behind these companies. So
Yeah.
it sounds easy to just stay positive and there's great opportunity out there. But the truth is they're really carrying the weight of the world. And so I really take them back to chapter 4 from the book Good to Great that Jim Collins wrote in 2001. And he said, you've got to face the brutal facts while keeping unwavering faith in your ability to persevere and emerge from this current situation. And so I do a lot of exercises with my clients and with their leadership teams where we go through and we just deal with the brutal facts. I mean, let's get them down on paper. And I think the overriding response of getting them down on paper is maybe they're not as bad as they really thought they were, as odd as that may sound. It actually, fear, a lot of tricks on our minds. Our minds were wired 2,000 years ago to sense fear so that we could get out of the way or we could run or we could avoid being attacked. And left unfiltered, it can really run wild on us.
Yeah.
And so just that fact of, or that exercise of going through and writing it down really helps. The other thing that I'm really working with my clients on is none of us are going to emerge from this the same. Like
Yeah.
nobody's just going to go status quo through this. We're either going to become better, we're going to get on the other side and people are going to think more highly of us, or they're going to think less highly of us. And so, you don't have to have all the answers as a leader, but you can't be tone deaf. Your people, the people that work for you, your customers, your suppliers, they need to understand and feel like you've got a grasp of the situation.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of it, we have to have faith. So the other part of the exercise I do with them is, what are all the reasons that we should believe that we're going to emerge, not just the same, but stronger? And like the first exercise where we're facing the brutal facts, a lot of times we get some really powerful insights that come out of this that really serve as reasons why we should have faith, reasons why we should have confidence that we'll emerge stronger. And I believe that both fear and faith are born in our imagination, right?
Hmm.
They're all in our imagination. They're not backed by fact, but fear comes automatically for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. Faith is imagination directed. Think of fear as imagination undirected, right? Weeds grow automatically. But to grow my business, to grow my faith in our ability to persevere takes intentional effort. And so focusing on the things that are right, focusing on the reasons to believe is just something that leaders should be doing over and over again for themselves, and then communicating this to their team. So, as dire as it is, let's face it, the world has been through much graver situations than we're going through today, and we've survived them all. So we'll get to the other side, and let's come out of it a stronger organization versus a weaker organization.
That's great. I like that, fear versus faith. So building upon that, you mentioned you have clients that are really facing significant reductions in their revenue, whether it be 50%, 75%, or in the worst case scenario, even 100%. So, other than going through this exercise of writing it down and maybe understanding that, as bad as 100% revenue loss may sound, there are some good silver linings that might come out of it. How do you advise those companies right now?
Well, you gotta keep moving. And I use this analogy. It's kind of goofy, but we're a boating family. We grew up. My daughter was a competitive wakeboarder. We just grew up on the lake all the time, and so my kids at a young age would go out in the boat on their own and with their friends and practice and for their sport. And in Texas, there's always the risk of a storm blowing up, and we tried to
Right.
watch the weather and, of course, tried to prepare for that. But my advice to them was, if you get caught in the storm, point the boat towards the waves and just keep the power on it. Let the front of the boat ride up. Don't ever let off and go sideways, because what'll happen, you run the risk those waves come over the side, and bad things can happen. Slam you up against the shore, or
Yeah.
worse yet, capsize you out in the water. And so the same thing is true here. We've got to keep. And so you say, Mark, well, what should we be doing? Well, I say communicate. Call your clients, call your partners, call family, and communicate. Ask, how can I help? For the first 2.5, 3 weeks of this, my conversation would be, Eugene, how are you doing? I'm just checking in to see if I can be a friend, see if I
Yeah.
can be a thinking partner, if I can help you think through a problem. Right. So just calling through and saying, how can I help? If your customers are struggling, they don't know how you can help. I mean, now you're kind of putting the load on them. So think. So for me, it was, can I help think? Can I just be a friend? Can I help be a thinking partner? And I really encourage my clients to do the same with your clients.
Yeah.
Again, you don't have to have all the answers. I mean, we don't know what's going on. I'm in the middle of it with them. But sometimes just having somebody to talk to, and I cannot tell you the positive stories that have come out of that simple act. The other thing that I'm really encouraging them to do now, as we're kind of moving through it a little bit, is to be more intentional about, tell me about your business. What do you see coming up? Where do you see opportunities for you going forward? And so you're listening to your customers, you're listening to how they're looking at their business, and you're looking for new areas of opportunity where you can add value. So the somebody, and I wish I could remember who told me this, but don't ever waste a good crisis, right?
Right.
So this crisis will create opportunity.
Yep.
What we don't want to do is be all hunkered down with our head in the sand and miss that opportunity.
Yep.
And so the highest quality of you sensing it is communicating and talking to people. So don't let yourself get stuck in your office. Don't let yourself get stuck not doing anything. Keep taking steps forward. Keep moving forward, and you'll come up with a bunch of dumb ideas, but hope come up with a good idea that can add some value to your clients when we get to the other side.
Sound advice. I know that you're really big proponent of regular strategic planning, quarterly planning. Obviously, probably strategic plans for many companies have been completely blown up as a result. So how are your clients staying committed to strategic planning rhythms and sort of whatever they may have already set for themselves in terms of strategic goals and objectives, and sort of reevaluating those now?
Well, in these kind of times, the time
I got the
horizon
sun
has
terribly on.
the time horizon has become very short. So we're really focused. What can we do today? What can we do tomorrow? What can we do next week, next month, and at the most this quarter? Nobody really knows what things are going to look like after June 30th. So I've actually been back to back planning with my clients. I mean, I told my wife, I feel like I'm almost busier now than I was before.
Yeah.
And we're doing it through Zoom. And I tell you, Align has been a fantastic tool that my clients are using to stay focused. What are our critical numbers? And Vern talked about a couple weeks ago that your critical number to focus on this week should be the amount of talk time. How much time are you spending talking to your clients? And I'm telling you, several of my clients have adopted that.
Hmm.
Several of my clients have added a critical number around number of one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So there's nothing more important than keeping in times of stress and uncertainty, people are looking for leadership. And guess what? If we're at the top of the organization, we're the leaders in their lives. And again, we're either going to step in and lead them, or we're going to leave a vacuum and they're never going to think the same of us. Implementing more one-on-one. So if a client kind of had a loose policy around one-on-ones, they've tightened them. If they're used to doing them once a month, they've said, we're going to do them every other week. If they had done them every other week, maybe they're saying every week, I want a one-on-one with every member of your team. And it could be a 15-minute, could be a half hour, but we're going to be communicating with our people. Again, how are you doing? How can I serve you? What's something I can help you with? And Align has really been a great tool to help us with that. Vern did a reInvent summit a couple weeks ago, Eugene, and
Yeah.
David Marquette was on there, and he talked about red work. And David was stuck underwater on a submarine for like 90 days. I can't imagine. But he said how they got through it was they focused on red work. And red work was the physical work, where they called blue work planning work. So you think about strategic planning, we are taking time to plan, but it's very act oriented. What are we going to do to keep everybody moving straight forward into those waves, keep making progress, just keep going, and that activity will get us through this and get us on the other side.
Sounds great advice. Final question that I ask everyone, Mark, and that is, what is the number one piece of advice that you are giving your coaching clients right now?
Well, again, the number one piece of advice is to stay calm and stay resourceful. I believe that, great breakthroughs, it's rarely a lack of resources that keeps us from breaking through or accomplishing a goal. And it's almost always a lack of resourcefulness.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and study great comebacks, this happens to be the 50-year anniversary of Apollo 13.
Mm-hmm.
And you think of the stress that those astronauts and the folks at NASA down in Houston must have been dealing with in that environment, where the odds of survival seem so bleak. And I was reading, there was a lot of great things in the paper this weekend, and the overriding response was we stayed calm, we maintained faith, and we kept trying ideas. And if you think of any great victory, it's insurmountable odds, you're never going to hear anybody say, you know what, we panicked, we froze, and thank God we did that because that's what got us through. No, we got to stay calm, we got to stay resourceful, we got to keep the faith. And again, it's not just enough to say it, we got to take actions to do it. So journaling every day, what are 3 reasons why I should be faithful today? Mm-hmm. What are 3 reasons why I should be optimistic? Keep challenging yourself to look for those reasons and then communicate them to your people. Keep sharing the good news so that people stay resourceful, stay optimistic, so you can keep the great ideas coming, so that eventually you'll find the answers you need to find to get your company through this, not just surviving, but thriving.
Mark, you got me fired up. I'm ready to go. It's great.
Go get them today, Eugene.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Always sound advice and Great feedback and thoughts. If you'd like to learn more about Mark, please check out his website at scalingupdfw.com. Again, if you'd always like to learn more about Align, you can learn more at aligntoday.com. And we hope that you will join us next time. Till then, thank you so much, and we hope that you make it a great day.
Thanks, Eugene.